Greetings. We are here with the Blue Avians now, welcoming you to open up even more to the pathway for your soul's awakening, to the pathway for your soul's communication. Yes, indeed, your soul communication is going to come online even more, where you do understand the presence that you share, the powerful impact that you make, the intentions that you seek are planting seeds of ascension, helping humanity ascend and shift timelines so that they feel the light, feel their purpose. If I were to give Blue Avians a job title, I would see them as environmentalists and sociologists. Those are the two jobs I would assign them.
Welcome everybody to Soul Communication episode, and I'm excited today to talk about channeling, light language, and trans-dimensional way of bringing information through. I'm really excited to have dear Vina Chalice, who is a channeler and interacts with different frequencies, fairies, custodians, and plays with different frequencies in her sandbox. So, Vina, thank you for being here and for sharing your gifts with us. So, my first question for you, and I usually ask every guest that comes on, have you always been a channeler? How did you step into it? How did you open your gifts?
Absolutely. So I was not aware that I had psychic abilities when I was born, but I did know that I was an energetically sensitive person, an empath. I found that out when I was a teenager and I walked into a holistic healing center to see what Reiki was, felt the shift in energy and the frequency in the room. And so I asked if I could be an intern and just be in that energy for a bit. I think that was just the opening to discovering what channeling was. It actually wasn't until when I moved to Thailand, and the energy there is so nice. It's a very feminine energy. And I was in nature. By being in nature, something shifts within your being. You're able to return to what I would say your original blueprint of what it feels like to be really connected to Mother Gaia. It was there under the full moon by the beach did I first hear a transmission from Blue Avians. What I felt was like my brain was running on a more upgraded or faster engine than how I normally think. I couldn't stop automatic writing. There was a lot of energy moving through me. The first message that came through turned into a poem, and it was this: life is beautiful and divine. There's a history beyond what I can rewind, written down with words before all of this becomes a blur. Make known to the contracts that bind, the ones that don't align. Remove them, transmute them, and shoot them pure love so that balance and flow can intertwine in sacred design. As your freedom and peace deepens, may the weeds of limiting beliefs weaken. As you stay centered and sovereign, may your insight and impact on this world broaden. And it was from there did I start to discover what channeling was.
I love that it happened for you in Thailand. I had some really beautiful spiritual journeys in Thailand as well. Did you continue practicing this channel to open up and work with it?
I thought it was just me opening up my channels for writing. I thought I was just, there was just a muse of inspiration. From there, I ended up just being a blog writer and be a ghostwriter, a copywriter for different people on Upwork. So I was ghostwriting for other people that happened to be healers, that happened to be intuitives, that happened to be channelers. And I didn't exactly understand the realm and what was going on, but I was a very quick study, and I just thought that's just something a copywriter does. Something a writer does is to learn how to channel your client's voice. But I didn't know that I was actually channeling. It wasn't until I think when I moved back to the United States, where I now live in Minnesota, where another activation happened and I got a neck massage. Since I'm so
Yeah.
sensitive, I think I unlocked the back of my throat. Have you heard of
Yep.
what the mouth of God chakra is? Apparently, when it's activated, it connects you to your soul's communication, just like the origin of your soul and history before we incarnated. That's what I read online. From there, I just pressed it, and then an activation came through, and I just started speaking gibberish like that, za 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 fa 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 fa, and it felt like a surge of just heat's just moving through me, and I'm shaking, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm going crazy. And so that's when the light language just started going through, and I felt shy because I didn't know what was going on. But at the same time, when I continued to just trust the flow of energy, it felt so good. It felt like this is exactly what I needed to do to heal myself. I knew this was really important, even though I didn't understand exactly what was going on. I ended up finding a way where I could just take some time to myself to be able to speak it without being conscious of what my family members would be thinking. And so I ended up just like getting like a part-time job at a float spa.
That's a really great way to disconnect from your body and allow whatever else needs to come through. I just wanted to mention about the back of the neck. I'm doing a lot of what's called crystalline soul healing, and I'm also finding that I'm removing a lot of implants for my clients that are all stationed around the back of the throat as well. And in some ways, they also keeping our angelic wings compressed. Most of the time, these implants have been put there by us on the soul level, the soul contract, because we're not ready to unleash all that power yet. So when I'm
Yes.
removing that implant, the person is ready for it and some sort of opening and throat clearing happens. I've been doing so many activations for people, especially during COVID, over the throat. I think, for myself included, I feel it's the last place that we need to break through, step into our awakened sovereign self. I remember my friend doing a massage, and I definitely had an activation in the back of my neck. So for those listening and tuning to this, maybe do an extra massage there. Find your spot.
I absolutely love that you notice that there is a connection with implants and vows that we created to keep our etheric wings closed, because recently another healer who I trust also helped me open my fairy wings. She noticed that there was something like a vow, or what you would say an implant.
These days, the guidance is to stretch people's wings, to expand them. The wings are incredible. You're talking about fairy wings. I almost see them as angelic wings, and they're at least 55 feet out. They're massive. That's related to our Merkaba and our sacred geometry. I always tell everyone, go have fun, open your wings in the store and see how far they stretch. Who can you touch with them? I feel like opening to light language and opening our wings is part of this appealing process, stepping into our true angelic divine selves.
I love that you open your wings for your clients. That is just such a gift, because when that happens, you feel that it's safe to embody all that you are, like the multidimensional expression of you. And I think with that, you raise your frequency and it becomes easier to just link up with your soul fam and people you met in your past life without really second guessing it, and just being okay with having conversations. And we're like, oh my gosh, like muggles don't usually talk about this. How did we just meet?
We are like in the movie Matrix. We are here to shine the light and break through the code. If everything is code, then we activate a command, this our antivirus to the virus. So maybe they can see us as a virus. It's questionable, right? But it's the role we play and the places we've been guided to be at and brought to, and how we can shine our light wherever we go. Sometimes just spreading those angelic wings is just enough, because then you feel the whole train with your light, and that's all that's needed.
Right. I think some of us, we hear the call, and the call isn't always, let's just go into nature. We're guided to go to certain cities, and we're supposed to be at certain places, and possibly to bring forth certain frequencies, but also just because it helps us understand our potential and our capacity
I
to be able to alchemize all the densities within ourselves that we didn't know we were capable of.
I think we are here to integrate the darkness, the light, and everything in between, and bring that to a place of alchemization, as you said, and peace, a deeper peace within, without going into the old paradigm way. During solar eclipse, had a
Mm.
confrontation with someone at work, the person trying to attack and push and pull energies, and come into it from a heart-centered, unified way of nonviolent communication, really holding it back and integrating. And it was very hard because the animalistic human self wants to attack back. Those practices that we do of taking that
Yeah.
extra breath, not react, and take a little pause and respond and walk away. I was actually walking away and I was asked to stay, and yet still being very calm and zen through it, even though you feel that attack like on your chakra levels. We have to resolve this from a higher state of consciousness, because that's what we bring into this reality game. War is not the answer. There is another way, but it definitely challenges you to be in very coherent and, I would say, self mastery.
Yeah. I would also add that maybe people aren't used to being in that kind of dynamic where you're responding from a place, a heart centered place that's triggering it that may feel in that moment. And that might give them new information of, oh my God, maybe this power play is outdated and there might be a better way.
The
May
seed
have
of
just
change.
planted the
Yeah,
seeds of
for
change.
sure. I'm talking about toxic masculinity here, the very outdated program. We as divine feminine, even more so, have to
Right.
instill that there is another way, for sure. I have received that apology. I felt like, yes, it was hard and there was more to process later, but there was that shift, transformation, that moment. And that's all we can do. It's like that one interaction is enough. Wherever we can bring that, like one at a time, and we, like you said, we plant in these seeds in this reality. And we can do it with light codes too in the background. Then you go to the bathroom and do all your things and you burp it out and you alchemize and alchemize.
Yes.
What inspires you to bring your messages? And is there a specific collective that wants to talk through interchangeably during your transmission?
I think for me, I follow my curiosities. And anytime I channel, I'm always surprised by what happens because I don't know what I'm going to say next. But at the end of every transmission, I do feel whole. I do feel fulfilled. I do feel like my energy is being recalibrated and it helps me step more into alignment. I personally wasn't always interested in ascension, in spirituality, in like in energy. I fell into the rabbit hole and I surrendered and I was able to see the blessings and see that I am being guided, see that I am being led, and that I am also able to affect people in a positive way that I didn't know I was able to. In terms of channeling messages, it really depends on the moment. The first trans channel transmission that was an automatic writing, it was through the Council of Light. My experience has always been through feeling. I never really call upon them. I just keep my heart open and I connect and ask for the highest good of the message of what needs to be heard in the moment. And it usually is a Council of Light, and they do share messages to help you sync up more with the grid of your intuition, your original state of being your divine blueprint. And while all of this language may be new to me, this is just information sometimes for your soul conscious to come online and to sync up with you even more. I find that the Council of Light are just the angelic realm. Sometimes, specifically, Archangel Michael might speak, or specifically, Archangel Shamiel, who I'm connected with, may speak through and be like a representative. But for the most part, anytime I feel their energy, I feel streams of peace. And I also feel like it's just a unison of angels, of non-physical light beings that are all in harmony and are all in agreement
Yeah,
to help
that's right.
alleviate suffering.
Yeah,
What's
different
your perspective?
frequencies. All of them I hear support the ascension cycle for us, and they're all interested for us to succeed. And
Yes.
so we connect to different ones. There's the galactics, there's the angelics, there's their avatar consciousness, there's the deities that you can work with. It's whatever connection on a
Yes.
personal level and a soul level that you have that resonates with you. I don't work much with angelics. I used to at some point, but definitely when I transmit light language, there's galactic, and then there's like this moment where I start singing, and I know this is angelic, and I feel this energy comes in, and it's like smoothest things out. It's just another level of frequency that just realigns everything. So if not like direct communication with them, my husband works with Archangel Michael a lot on the frequency level, especially through toning and singing. I do feel them and connect to that frequency.
I also resonate that if you are connected to your galactic guides, you do on some level have the connection to connect with many different beings as well. Fairies, dragons, archangels, maybe I may be a social butterfly because I'm very curious. As a clairsentient, I'm curious to just feel what kind of frequency and what they feel like. And it's just helping me learn the language of the energy, of their energy, of frequencies.
Yeah. We are all trans channelers. It's just the limitations that we've put in this earthly project, matrixy type of conditioning. But when you unshackle yourself, right, back to the limitless, everything is available. And I love how you keep on saying about curiosity. Just stay curious, just explore, just go out of your sandbox, just play like being a child again. Everything is available, and all the messages are there, and you can connect to any collective you want, and you can jump any dimensions you want. We can go to the source. It's all a matter of imagination and curiosity. I feel everyone in their journey, and I think now everyone is opening up. Like during COVID, all of a sudden, people had a moment to disconnect from the noise and go inwards. And I think the more opportunities you have to do that, the more you can really tune in to all the gifts you have. It's never too late.
Yeah, I resonate with that completely. I would like to add is yes, it was a very big initiation for many people that all of a sudden it was a crash course to going inwards and discovering the frequency and raising their vibration and clearing out like old patterns and densities and also like connecting with other soul family and soul connection. It was a time for a lot of us that didn't dabble too much in mysticism or spirituality, that all of a sudden we found ourselves really drawn to connect inwards and feel the light. And so that was something that happened to me.
COVID started, and I was in Sedona like end of February 2020, right before the shutdown started, doing light language workshops and things like that. It was such a blessing because light language became primary tool to go online and do all these activations for my friends and recalibrate them through sound. We can still do quantum entanglement sessions, whether we're in proximity or not. If we just see each other on Zoom or on the phone, we are in this really beautiful place of expansion. And so I would love to hear some of your channeling, maybe a message for our audience, if you're okay to go into that transmission for us.
Absolutely. So actually, before I start channeling, I do
Please.
use light language
Yeah,
to tune in to help me raise
let's
my
do that.
frequency.
Yay.
So sa alakari ishikalieno koliata sa kalieto koliashaka. Ku ayo ayo ayo. Shukariana yaku arasakaka. Greetings. We are here with the Blue Avians now, welcoming you, welcoming you, welcoming you to open up even more to the pathway for your soul's awakening, to the pathway for your soul's communication. Yes, indeed, your soul communication is going to come online even more, where you do understand the presence that you share, the powerful impact that you make, the intentions that you seek are planting seeds of ascension, helping you, helping humanity ascend and shift timelines so that they feel the light, feel their purpose, feel into the frequency of the limitless mind, of the limitless being, of the inner being that knows how to act as an inner compass, as a guidance tool, so that you are going to start to perceive and ask the right questions. What does it mean to spend your time here on earth? To be a good ancestor? What does it mean to shift your independent values to one of the collective that will help future generations for this planet, as well as your incarnation back into this planet? These are seeds of awakening that are going to continue to come online for you and for the collective. It is not a tall order. It is one that is going to bring you back to this original state of being, to this divine template where you understand how we are all interconnected, where you understand the call to connect with Mama Gaia, to be nourished, to be held, to be grounded, and to enjoy your time here. As you enjoy your time here, as you entertain what it means to be a good ancestor for future generations, are you going to start to see this collective shift in awakening? Are you going to start to open up, and bring out this free energy available to you? Bring out the inner resources that are not only going to restore you, but restore many other people. For you are going to become more drawn to higher frequencies. You're going to be more drawn to emanating what it means for you to be a multidimensional being without confusion, without distortions, without fear. Fear locked within the throat chakra is something that you can shift with the assistance and with the openness, knowing that it is safe now. It is safe now. It is safe now to open up. It is safe now to open up. It is safe now to open up. Know that you are safe. Draw more of that energy within you, for that is going to help you create ripples of change, as well as help you open up this paradigm where you call back your soul power, where you see and are able to unify your soul's intelligence to let you know that you have done this before, to let you know that you are safe to do this, to let you know that you are held and that you are never alone. You are never alone. So remember to embrace your light. Remember to open yourself up to the codes that is part of your birthright, and know that all is well, that all is well, that all is well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Kakayane shikai ikikirieta.
Thank you so much, the Blue. I haven't interacted with Blue Avian Collective before. Beautiful. How do you see them if you were to imagine?
So they're very tall. They're very tall and they're blue. I see. If they're blue, they're bird-like beings. I'm like perceiving from my mind's eye right now. I do know that when I tap into Deadova's light language music, are you familiar with Deadova? She has blue avian energy. That's when I'm able to feel them even more.
So, Blue Avians, are they from specific, which constellation, where they come from?
I'm not too familiar with the origin, but to be honest, between connecting with the Blue Avians and the Pleiadian Council and Arcturian uh, beings, and I do feel
Right.
like they are very much connected to Mother Earth and to the Earth grid. I feel a very
Mm,
grounded presence here,
yes.
to be honest. And
Yeah.
I wish I knew I had more information, but I'm not someone that really
Well,
does too much research.
yeah, avian
Avenue.
beings and the Lyran beings, the founding fathers of the humanoid experience. A lot of them were in the Lyra system, and they're very interested in this civilization and where we headed because we integration of different star seeds. So that makes sense. The Earth grid work that you mentioned, which I do a lot too. It's all part of that evolution of mother as well into her next dimensionality, and it goes together with our human experience and her experience because we're moving together, not separate.
If I were to give Blue Avians a job title, I would see them as environmentalists and sociologists. Those are the two jobs I would assign them. Jobs I
What
would
other
assign them.
qualities would you describe them as?
Good question. When I think of a little bit about their philosophy, I'm reminded of this social contract by John. Imagine if you could create a society where you didn't know what your incarnation was going to be. You didn't know your religion. You didn't know your race. You didn't know whether or not you had disabilities. You didn't know which region you were born into. You didn't know what your income level was going to be. How would you set up a society or maybe a government where everyone is going to be okay? So wherever you decide to incarnate, you are going to be taken care of. And I think that is a very interesting social and thought experiment to look at, which makes me like desire and ask myself even more, how can I leave this planet with the least amount of karmic imprints moving forward? And it makes me
Mm,
extremely conscious after I connect with the Blue Avians, like, how can I shop more with my values? These are different questions that I find myself asking ever since I started connecting with them. I don't know. Do you resonate, or does that, like, with your past conversations?
I'm definitely one of the blueprint architects of sorts where I'm very concerned and I do my piece of the work with Earth Grid work. And that's been one of my biggest missions in the last decade. And as I mentioned to you earlier, right now I'm working the heart of New York and other places call me. I'm thinking about the society and how it will look like in the future. And I think what you mentioned, it's almost like me watching Star Trek. I'm a big fan where that that society, there's a galactic federation, right? There's rules and you kind of fit into the rules based on your skills, your intentions, your gifts, and there is some sort of like higher order that allows you to step into those roles. And there's no concept of money per se, but it's an exchange of energy and it's ultimately for the highest good, but not in the 3D construct of socialism or Marxism, communism, that these models have not worked. And I think the reason they have not worked is because of the level of consciousness that we created from, which is low frequency. But I'm talking about advanced civilizations, and we know we are civilization zero. We're moving towards these advanced versions of different possibilities and variations of what you discuss, and I can see them. They exist in other dimensions. We're just not there. We're still in the polarization game of war and conflict and domination until we get into peace and love, like.
And money driven. Yeah, because we're on survival mode. Jobs are almost like modern day slavery sometimes. I wonder, what would it be possible for me to be able to like spend a year just being in a barter economy? Can I have a friend that may be a farmer? Can I have a friend that may be like someone that makes clothes? And like, how are, or someone that's a massage therapist? How can we barter utilizing like our gifts for one another and in exchange that
it,
is of equal
it's
value?
possible. It just feels much more organic. I'm hopeful. reciprocity. Reciprocity, yeah, that's the word.
I would love to hear your light language.
Thank
I'm really
you.
curious.
Oh,
Please, would
sure.
you share?
Yeah, whatever comes. I like to have dialogue. It doesn't have to be
Yes.
activated. Let's talk about, maybe we can continue talking about this topic, right? Of the potential of the new earth reality. Urania muati starti kumbayati. Urutumbayetash tayatu. Ihundia chi matu. Arata shukuro mananayati. Ujumu maha. Ishikipan turutumba ikatumba imbashiku. Ahanda ita. Ujimani hanumara tatuji pahayatu. Matuku ashtaha. Hakumbaita ta sharati matu mananati warana.
Yeah. Shua laliani alualiasia, lualiana, hialualaka, sanuqualiani situruliashika, shuruliania salaka, kuale mini tipiti, shekati titulieta, tituliasari, tuarli, huaika
Yeah, the
kanya,
fairies are very excited about
huiarata,
that
nasa,
concept.
kariukalia,
Kuntekia
shikitulia, sa,
takatustra tikata
luayaya.
nananai tutututuniata tunikata
Mm,
tukusta tikata niata tutikata tikata
yeah.
tutipati atuna. The way they're showing it to me, it's like pollinating the flowers. Everyone has their role and everyone knows they can pollinate, and it's all in this beautiful vibrational pollination cross space and time. There's so much joy.
I'm seeing like study more of the pollinators and the beehives. Like
Yeah,
study more,
interesting.
study.
Understanding the harmony of the universe, because it comes back to the quantum harmonization. We live in very beautiful universe where there's patterns and mathematics and ratios, and we just need to learn how to be one with each as a collective. Untushtima nanu tarina ikatusturnamu kushtimbaika nanaki kunna matkertik tutitsits shiku.
Karuaya, kala, ikurueta, ya, nuria, ikurulia, tiruala, irulia. Uli, kikilia, satataya, aya, kalaka, karetu, Remember, we are one. We are one. We are one. We will not forsake you. We will always help you. We are here to help one another. We're here to help one another. We're here to help one another. Share more of that. Share more of that. Share more of that without fear of this gift that you give one another. Reciprocity. Sanya tukuria shikaria tutukuria nana. Learn how to give more freely. Shukaria nana. Walalala. Learn how to love. Kukaria nana. Unconditionally. Tanya nana. That is the lesson. Yakakaka. And you'll see that becoming reflected back to you. Shiakaria nana. Blessings are for everyone.
Yeah, a lot of us live in square kind of housing, and the energy doesn't properly flowing. So they were just showing me how part of this evolution and this new reality we build natural structures that like geodesic domes, like hives. The structure that we live in needs to be also geometrically cohesive for the energies to flow, imagining together, right, and manifest in this co-creation, that type of very harmonious creation of structures.
See a new way of sacred architecture and living, like whether we live in domes or if we change the material. There's more crystals. It's coming. I feel that. I feel that there is a new way of building
Already
material.
started. Yeah, for sure. It's already here. It's already here in the pyramids and all that. Like, I want to
Oh,
build
that
these
feels yummy
geodesic
to my
domes and
heart.
pyramids. It's all like back to nature, right? Back to fairies. And the fairies, too, when I connect to them in the forest, the way they connect to the trees and a lot of the entrances out of the trees through the mycelium network, through the mushrooms. So they too have their doorways. Through the fairies, I've connected to the mycelium network because they really know how to operate it. The mushroom network constantly talks. All the trees are talking.
Wow. And I love how it's a big movement. I love how there's mushroom festivals. It's wonderful that it's now available for us to remember what that frequency is. What when we are in that altered state, to just remember, but once we have that memory encoded with it in us, it's something that we can tap into as well. Without it, it's just a beautiful experience. It's a beautiful journey to have, but it's not something that we need on a daily
Yeah,
basis
absolutely.
to
My
feel
light
that
language
connection
opened up
with
actually when I was
ourselves
in the
and our
mushrooms on
energy
the
and our light
hike.
bodies.
So that was the first experience. I'm really grateful, I call them the teachers, for the teachers
Yeah.
to facilitate that opening for me to
Yes.
trust it deeper and go into that frequency. And after a couple of times, I was like, oh, I want to try to do this without them. And like you said, remembering how to connect back to it. And now when you have the pathway, you know the direction back.
Yes. And there's something so beautiful about being able to be in that awareness where you can speak light language and also being able to like have that time and that space to start to learn the energetics behind light language and what your soul is communicating with you. Oh, what this frequency is and what this memory and what this origin is guiding you. Sometimes I feel like light language, it's your soul tongue. It's not your mother tongue, it's your soul tongue. And the more you spend time speaking light language, the more you're learning about your soul's culture. And it's just,
Yeah,
it's something that you don't read. Exactly.
yeah,
It's just something you just start to learn just by traveling there, just by being in those dimensions. That's where you notice like people that speak more than one language, they do have a deeper appreciation for humanity, a deeper appreciation for different cultures, and a wider perspective.
this is just one experience we have right now. But the soul, the software, has traveled and been in so many star systems and so many different incarnations that had, and just in general, it could have learned the language from the interaction, moving around from a place to a place. I mean, you come to the United States or even haven't been to the United States, but learn English. So everyone knows that language. And there's so many various also dialects, like uniqueness of the expression is so beautiful. Not one is alike. And the dialects and the subtleties just so intricate and so special. And I love how you said
Yes.
it's a soul language. Yes, it's a heart language. It's a way for us to get out of our mind and try to make sense of each. One thing can mean so many things, and there's always perspectives. Like you can say love in so many ways, light language.
It also activates and helps you not only with your soul's remembrance, but just telepathy. You're just different facets of you, but also with connecting with different non physical light beings, your higher self. It's so profound. I don't know how exactly to explain it, but it feels
Yeah,
like home.
I call actually they showed it to me in a ceremony where light is just one vehicle of the expression, but it's really different facets of the source expression. And so this is just some of the ways we can express. And I love that it can be just clicks, like the Mentis Collective, for instance, that I had with Tony Ghazi on the previous podcast. And when he was activated, my connection to Mentis Collective, they all came in like clicks and hissing and I could
Ah,
see you.
ooh,
I don't know why, Vina. I'm seeing you. In
it's
what is
like
that
so.
movie?
It makes my throat
Guardians
tickle.
of the Galaxy. Yes, the girl who is like
Guardians of the Galaxy.
little like with these little. Yes, you would be
Duchess.
perfect for it. You kind of look
Yes.
like her a little bit. I don't know. You have
I
that
would
like
want to be her for
frequency of an
Halloween if I had a
actress.
Halloween party to go to. And I see you, and I also see you as Wonder
Yeah, she
Woman,
has
like
that like charisma of
Amazonian warrioress.
yeah, of courage. Thank you. Yeah, I definitely resonate with that character.
But this was so heartwarming and soul opening
Thank
and
you,
like
Vina.
refreshing.
Yeah.
It was such a deal to speak with you. You were so wonderful. Thank you for sharing your light and being such a beautiful, bright soul and being so open
Thank you,
and like
Vina. Sprinkle that fairy dust, right? Pollinate, pollinate. I think we all those fairies. Honestly, we all been them, and we are them in
yeah.
various shapes and forms. I think the key is to remember that we are the pollinators, and sometimes we need to sprinkle that in the darkest places, and sometimes in even the lightest places, and always bring that joy and that remembrance of where we came from, and that we have all of this fun playground of infinite
Mm,
frequencies.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Puranashi muna
Yes,
tushtumbaya
absolutely.
tiatura
Oh, this brings
niata
so much love
tumani
to my heart.
shumaita isha isa itaratai katutumai tarinu shikundua isha. Thank you.
Mm. Kaya liate shikare monoasi
Mm.
alaka.
Thank you for bringing the playfulness out of me.
Thank you. It's always available to you. You have fairy energy as well. Did it!
Fun with us as we did as well. And tune to our next episode. Thanks for watching. Click on one of the videos below to see our other episodes and don't forget to subscribe.